Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. As always, my name is Ong'aro, and today we would like to talk about farming, especially maize farming in this country. As you all know, the government gave out subsidized fertilizer for farmers to plant maize throughout the country early this year and late last year. And as we speak right now, farmers are harvesting. They started harvesting as early as June, and they will be doing it until December. But other than subsidizing fertilizer, what else has the government done? Because today, I'd like to talk about post-harvest mitigation strategies that the government can use. Which, and by the way, I've been asking on my tweets, especially the government's officials who are on Twitter, who are marketing the government. What are the strategies the government is using to avoid post-harvest losses, especially that is detrimental to the farmer at this stage in time? Because if you realize, even the weatherman has said there's going to be El Nino, and farmers tend to leave their maize in the farms until they have the capacity to harvest them. And what happens at this time when they are leaving, when it is raining and the maize is still in the farms, chances are it will attract aflatoxins. So today we'd like to talk about those strategies, and maybe it will get to the government what I'm talking about. But even if it's not, it's good to put it out there so that even the farmers can, use it to avoid more losses in their farms. So one is timely harvest. But in this country, you find that the farmer has done all the hard work from planting to now harvesting. But now when it gets to the time of harvesting, chances are they will not have the capacity to do it in terms of resources. That's why they will leave the maize in the farms a little bit longer for them to find resources that they will use to harvest. But the government can chip in at this time, from the time the maize is ready. Okay? So that they ensure the farmer, one, harvests the maize at the right time of maturity. Okay? This will avoid, shattering and spoilage. Spoilage, of course, it will lead to aflatoxins. If the farmer harvests spoiled maize anyway, it means the value of that maize is going down. That's one, if they're going to sell it. Two, chances are that maize will be having aflatoxins, and if that goes to the market, it will be detrimental to the health of Kenyans. So the government need to find a way that, considering the weather conditions in this country between August and November, that the government, in collaboration with the farmers, they find a strategy where the government can fund the harvesting of this maize. Then they find a framework where they compensate each other, the farmer and the government, so that this crop gets out of the farms early enough before it starts getting aflatoxins. That's strategy number one. Number two, proper drying. You realize the rains are starting, and those who haven't harvested until now, they are going to have a situation where even if they harvest, the maize won't be dried properly, and it will lead to the same issues that we are talking about in strategy number one, whereby this maize will start acquiring aflatoxins and molds. It's important for the government, one, to establish drying centers in the food basket regions. Okay, that's the western part of Kenya and the northern Rift Valley. So that upon harvesting, upon the government helping the farmer to harvest, those who can't harvest on their own, those who don't have resources to harvest on their own, this maize is taken to a drying center. It can be per constituency, per ward, or per county, but we need to have drying centers in this country so that upon harvesting, the farmer can take their maize there, they are dried, and this can be the same centers where the farmers sell their maize. So if I take my maize to the drying center, it can be a buying center also, so that from that point, the process is taken over by the government until the farmer sells their maize, such that the government has dried the maize. You can't give those maize back to the farmer, but you can have storage facilities in those drying centers. And that is the next strategy. The government should have per ward or per constituency, whatever it is, drying centers fitted with everything that is required, whereby the maize is packaged into airtight storage bags, and the maize is put, it can be warehouses where you put the maize into storage bags which are airtight, or you can have silos, concrete silos, where upon drying the maize, you put them in silos, waiting for the maize to be sold or as a reserve for this country. And in these facilities, this is where you control pesticides. So the maize is treated and stored. That's why I was saying earlier, upon the maize getting into a drying center, everything now is under the control of the government, and the farmer knows the expenses of all this until the government takes charge completely. That means either the farmer can sell their maize before the process of drying starts. Okay? Can be a government policy that upon harvesting and you have dropped your maize at a drying facility, that's where you stop being involved. So your value is calculated at that point and you are paid according to the market value at that point of sale. Or the government can add a semi-value addition process of drying and storage. And then upon the government now storing the maize, the quality has been checked and everything has been checked. Now from that point, that's where the selling point is. Or the government can do all these items until the maize leaves the government facility for sale to millers. At that point, the government is selling to millers. That's the selling price of the farmer. So this strategy needs to be there. There are those who will decide, for me, I don't want the hassle of waiting for all this. Give me my money at the point of drying. Others will say, give me my money at the point of selling to millers. So these facilities need to be in place so that we ensure that we don't lose a lot during this process. Let's go to the next one. Of course, I've briefly talked about storage and pesticide control. Now, this pesticide control need to be done such that the quality of the maize is maintained, and there need to be a system whereby the amount of pesticide used is controlled. As we speak, The farmer goes to an agrovet, buys the pesticides, goes and does without controls as per the requirements, health requirements in this country. So we need a control facility that does this. That's what I was saying. All these facilities I'm talking about need to be in one place. The drying facility, the storage facility, and the pesticide control facility need to be in one place such that if a farmer takes the maize there, they know that the maize is going to be dried, the maize is going to be treated, that the maize is going to be stored, so that all the requirements are met, all the health requirements are met, and by the time the government is storing this maize, they know this maize meets all the requirements and nothing is going to destroy it during storage. So this system need to be in place, okay? And this system can be the same system that helped the farmer during the growing period of the maize, because there is, fertilizer. These are the same people who will decide, who will advise the farmer on how much fertilizer they are supposed to use per acre, how much pesticide pesticide they are supposed to use per acre when they are trying to control the weed, top dressing. All this can be controlled from one place, and this one can be created per. It's better per ward, but if the government doesn't have the facility, they can do it per constituency or per county. But these things need to be in place for us to be food secure in this country. Let's go to the next one. Training and education. Whatever I'm talking about, the farmer need to be educated. There should be civic education throughout the counties that plant maize in this country, so that they know when they need to call the government in to help them. They need to work with the extension officers. These extension officers can train the farmers so that even if the extension officer tells the farmer, do this, the farmer knows already what to do. Because the extension officer cannot be everywhere at the same time. But if the farmers are trained also, at least they will bridge the gap between the extension officer and the farmer, so that the farmer can handle some things until the extension officer comes, so that you don't have to wait. The whole ward or the whole county doesn't have to wait for one person to come, such that, like, if you train them about fertilizer, how it's supposed to be applied, how much, when, the farmer doesn't need an extension officer at that time. Number two, the farmer need to be educated on how to identify when the maize is infested with pests, so that upon the farmer realizing this, they can call the extension officer. But if the farmer is not educated on this, they will think that this is normal. So the farmer need to be educated on this basic, basic training on what need to happen from the time you plant to the time you are going to harvest, so that there can be a link between the farmer and the extension officer in terms of the required techniques on how to handle all these issues until the time of harvest. So this thing need to happen. As we speak today, everybody has their own standard on how they are controlling pesticides on site, because the farmer realizes there are these worms, goes to the agrovet without any reference to anything or to any extension officer. They say, this is the problem, give me the solution. But we need to have a controlled environment where the farmer is having all this information and can make the right decisions. And even if they call the extension officer, they know what they are talking and the extension officer can advise them correctly. Number two, in terms of training, is bookkeeping. The farmer need to keep the books from the time they are planting, okay? The type of seed they are using, the type of fertilizer they are using. All those need to be in records so that even if the government, the extension officer comes to your farm, they are basing decisions based on the information you have in your books so that we know what's doing good where. This can help the government also to make decisions in future. Record keeping is very important and the farmers need to be trained on this. And it's very important. Okay, let's go to the next one. Access to financing and insurance. There's no way a farmer who has 100 acres of land and is a hustler is able to get finance and insurance. So the government, through the Agricultural Finance Corporation, need to come up with these two products, financing and insurance. If you look at banks today, they are into banking, finance, that's finance, and they are into insurance. So Agricultural Finance Corporation can do these two things. Okay? A farmer walks in, they say they have 100 acres. They want to plant maize. Okay? These things should be like clockwork. Finance Corporation, the Agricultural Finance Corporation provides the financing for the farmer to plant maize. Okay? The government provides fertilizer subsidy. Okay? There's an extension officer who is going to guide the farmer until harvesting. Okay? During harvesting, the Agricultural Finance Corporation helps the farmer to harvest. Okay? Then the farmer takes the maize into the drying facilities. Like clockwork. From there, the government takes it over until the maize is sold to the millers or the maize is stored as a reserve for this country. It should be like clockwork. And this can happen if the finance corporation has the resources to ensure all this happens, including insurance from bad outcomes of the farms, such that if the maize doesn't do well, by the third month, the farmer is insured of all the expenses they have used until that time. This needs to happen so that this one will create a situation where more farmers will come into maize farming. Because if the government has a system, a policy where they are providing for the farmer all the resources the farmer need up to the time of harvest, the farmer will be motivated to, if they were doing 10 acres, they'll do 20 acres if they have that capacity. This needs to happen. And the government, from what I've been seeing, they're only talking about fertilizer subsidy, and that is it. But they need to do more. Let's go to the next one. Marketing linkage. This is what I was saying earlier, that the government need to take care of the farmer until the maize is sold to the millers. One, if the government registers farmers in this program, the government need to do it until this maize is sold to the millers or is sold to the public, okay? To the people, you know, at storage point, this maize has so many routes it can take. It can go to the Kenyan Reserve, okay? That's National Cereals and Produce Board. It can go to the millers, that's number two, or it can go to the Kenyan public through, suppliers. The government need to, this one is the easiest of all the things the government can do. Because if you have facilities around the country for storage and for reserves, it's so easy, okay? Those who are producing can produce, but you, like for instance, you can have a reserve in Mandera. Nothing prevents the government from having a reserve in Mandera. Because from a ward in Uasin that's a storage facility in Uasin County. This maize can be transported to Garissa and stored there in government reserves. Okay? These government reserves, you have a certain capacity, okay? You say a facility in Garissa can accommodate 1 million bags as a reserve. Let's say if you have a capacity of 1 million bags, okay? But of these 1 million bags, 100,000 of them are reserve. So that facility can be a reserve and a storage, for distributing to suppliers, okay? And it can be so easy. This is the easiest part, okay? Because you'll already be utilizing the facilities you have in place. So what you do is that you're only linking the excess in government reserves to suppliers in counties in this country, okay? Especially those counties that do not produce maize or they have a deficit. This is the easiest part of this strategy. Let's go to the next one. Value addition. Now, the government, upon storage of this maize, upon filling the reserves, now they need to look at, one, how to partner with private millers, because as we speak today, I haven't seen a miller who is from the Kenyan government. All the millers I know, they are private. These millers, they need to collaborate with government so that they consume products of the Kenyan public first before they import, before they do anything. So that by the time they are importing maize, okay, they have already utilized all the maize from the farmers in this country. So that the millers comply each and every year, because the government has already created storage facilities. All the millers need to do is make a call, okay? They have a deficit in the factory, and a truck is on their way to the millers. As simple as that, seamless. So that if you have a system, like in supermarkets, the moment you buy a product, the system automatically makes an order of the same product. Okay? If that product fills a truck, the supplier immediately loads a truck and that truck is added to the supermarket. That system should be applied to between our storage facilities in this country and the millers, so that immediately they utilize one truck of maize in the factory. Another truck is loaded from the storage facilities in Moise Bridge going to Kitale Industries. As simple as that. So that through the government strategies, millers can start producing flour purely Kenyan. Everything is purely Kenyan, including snacks. Okay? So that we can start having maize snacks. Okay? Like cornflakes. Okay? We need to start making cornflakes, not importing them, so that we diversify to other products of maize. Let's look at the last one. Now, this is where the government comes in with the extension officers. Okay? The extension officers need one, of course, they are going to monitor from the time of harvesting, but this is the most important part of post-harvesting mitigation losses strategy. This is what the government need to do. Okay? At the time of harvest, monitoring of post-harvesting start there. You need to have a report on planting, you need to have a report on progress along the way, then post-harvest. Those are 3 reports. This one, you need to know those who planted, okay? If I planted 100 acres, and last year I produced 25 bags. This time around, this season, how many bags have I produced? That's one. How much have I lost? How much have I gained? Okay? From my harvest, okay? You know there's sorting, the quality of the maize. How much have I lost from harvesting itself? There's an increment or a decrease of the production of the farm. Then there's an increase. There's also another decrease, not an increase actually, a decrease from the amount of maize I have lost to aflatoxins or spoilage. Those data need to be recorded so that the government knows what to do next. Okay. Number 2, the government need to monitor the increase or decrease in production each and every year from harvesting, so that you know if your strategies are working or they are worsening. And this country, you know, information, data can be used to solve every solution that the farmer needs, so that we improve, you know, standards improve each and every time you do something. Okay? This season, you identify this problem, you solve them. Next season, you implemented them. You implemented the solutions from the problems you identified. This will continue and continue and continue until you take the farmer from 20 bags per acre to 40 bags per acre. Okay? This thing, to improve from 20 to 40, cannot take the farmer alone. It needs government interventions, it needs government policies, it needs all the issues that I have highlighted here, so that the farmer, the burden of the farmer taking all this by themselves is lifted from them, and taken over by government, so that the farmer is like providing labor, and the project of planting maize in this country is by the government, but the farmer is providing all the necessary labor required to make sure that we improve from 20 bags, 25 bags to 35, 40 bags per acre. And I can assure you, if the government implements all these things I'm talking about, in 3 seasons' time, we won't be talking about farming in this country. We'll be talking about surplus in this country. And that one will be using the existing farmers as of today and the land that is on maize production. Okay? From there, if you can use the arable land that is being utilized, leave alone that the one that is idle. If you implement all these strategies I'm talking about on the land that is being utilized today, we can double our production of maize in this country in 2 years. Before we even think about going to unutilized arable land in this country. Otherwise, people, this is the episode. Please subscribe, please watch. And if you have any comments to make, please also make a comment so that we can know how we can improve this and make it better. Others, thank you. May God bless you.